I'm about to teach you the 3-step formula that creates the perfect elevator pitch, which is the quickest, most effective way to introduce yourself and whatever you're selling to a potential customer. Believe it or not, roughly 90% of salespeople can't effectively explain what they do for a living in one sentence. And that's pretty important considering the average human attention span is 8 seconds. Well, step 1 in creating an elevator pitch is explaining what you do in one sentence. So you'll be ahead of 90% of salespeople as soon as you learn this first step, which is the 1-sentence formula. I help X achieve Y by doing Z. In this formula, X represents your target client. In other words, the people that would be a good fit to use the services that you offer. Y represents the value that you provide to those target clients. It could be a problem you solve or a net positive that you provide. What's the benefit that you provide for your customers? And Z represents how you do it. How do you provide that value to your customers? For example, when I sold GPS tracking software, I'd say we help HVAC companies like yours be more efficient and save money on fuel and payroll by tracking their fleet of company-owned vehicles with GPS tracking. That formula actually works for pretty much anything that you could be offering. For example, if you sell cars, you could use that exact same formula by saying, I help people find the right vehicle for them at the right price by listening to their needs and helping them navigate our inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles. Or even if you're a stay-at-home parent, you could say, I help my children become amazing people by providing them with love, guidance, and attention every single day. Now, if you have that first formula down, write down how you help X achieve Y by doing Z. Or you could leave a comment here on how you help X achieve Y by doing Z, and I'll try to reply to it. That's great. Now you know what to say in that first sentence, but you still don't know how to say it, which is probably more important than what you're actually saying. How is it that you're delivering it? If you want to deliver your elevator pitch effectively, you need to make sure that you're following the 3 C's of elevator pitches, which is clear, concise, and compelling. Now let's break those 3 C's down a little bit. First, you want to make sure that your pitch is clear. In other words, you want to make sure whoever it is that you're delivering that elevator pitch to, they are able to fully digest and comprehend the information that you're giving them. And I'm going to give you 2 tips on how to make sure that you do that. First, avoid using any insider industry jargon or unnecessary big words because that's just going to muddy the waters. It's going to decrease the chance that your prospect is going to be able to fully understand what you do and how you do it. Trust me, using those big words and using all of that insider jargon does not make you appear smarter. It just increases the chance that whoever you're talking to isn't going to understand what you're saying. Dumb it down, keep it simple, keep it clear. Next, you want to mind your 3 T's, your tone, your tempo, and your tongue. First, mind your tone. In other words, you want to come off as conversational. You want to sound like a human being, not a robot who's just talking like this and they don't have any change or inflection in their voice. But on the flip side, you don't want to be over the top and too loud. You don't want to be too crazy. You want to have a positive, confident, and conversational tone throughout your pitch. Next, you want to mind your tempo. In other words, don't talk too fast. When you talk too fast, it increases the chance that whoever it is you're talking to will not grasp what you are trying to tell them when you're rattling off words a mile a minute. Again, you want to be conversational and be deliberate with your tempo. As a rule of thumb, it's better for your tempo to be a little too slow than to be a little too fast. Next, you want to mind your tongue. In other words, you want to make sure that you're enunciating your words properly so people can actually understand them. Now, if you mind your tempo when you slow down a bit, that generally will help you mind your tongue and you'll be able to enunciate your words better. The faster you talk, the harder it is to mind your tongue. The better that you slow things down and you're more deliberate with your tempo, the easier it is for you to enunciate your words and for people to be able to digest them. Next, you want to be concise. In other words, you want to be able to deliver your entire elevator pitch within 30 seconds or less. And I know you have all these different features and benefits that you have for all of your customers. Trust me, cutting a few of those out and just focusing on the ones that really impact and really matter to your customers that are similar to the person that you're talking to will create a way more impactful and concise elevator pitch. The easiest way to be concise is by really knowing your customers and why they use the service that you offer. What are the biggest pains that your service solves that they love the service for the most? Those are the ones to highlight, not the window dressing, not the small things that don't really matter. Be concise, focus on the most impactful things, and that is going to create a way better response from your prospect. Keep it brief, keep it impactful, and you'll keep their interest. Finally, you want your pitch to be compelling. In other words, you want it to be interesting and useful to the person that you're talking to. Easiest way to do this is by knowing who your target clients are. For example, if I owned a pool cleaning business and I was trying to do an elevator pitch for somebody that doesn't own a pool, I'm probably going to have a hard time making that compelling for them. But let's say they do own a pool. Just because they're a fit for what you're offering does not mean that your pitch is going to naturally be compelling. You need to highlight what it is that makes your service unique for your customers, what makes it ideal for your customers, and what are the things that they love about the service that you offer the most. Those are the things that you want to highlight in your elevator pitch to make sure that it's compelling. So you've nailed the I help X achieve Y by doing Z formula. You've made sure that it's clear, it's concise, and it's compelling, and it worked. Your prospect leaned in and said, "Tell me more about that." How do you reel them in from here? Well, we're ready for step 2 because you have a prospect now that is curious, right? But they might not be truly interested. They just want to hear more. So this method is going to help you take them from just being a little bit curious to being truly interested and moving the conversation forward. And that's the SPAR method. The SPAR method is like a foolproof roadmap for crafting your pitch. It'll guide you through all the key elements for making a great story that'll have your prospects hanging on your every word. And SPAR stands for situation, problem, action, and results. The situation is where you set the scene, introducing the main character of your short story, who, by the way, better be somebody that your prospect can relate to, or else this isn't going to work at all. Ideally, you want the main character in your SPAR story to be in a similar industry and have a similar job title to the person that you're pitching it to. Up next is the problem. This is where you hook that prospect in. What are the things that are keeping them up at night? What are their largest problems and their largest pains? This is what you're hoping to get from your prospect when you deliver that problem. You want them to be nodding along and saying, "Yeah, I've been there before." Or even better, that they're nodding along and saying, "Man, I'm going through that right now." Now comes the action, and this is where you introduce the solution to the problem. But this isn't going to just be some feature dump where you list all the countless things that your solution can do. You want to tell the story of how your character leveraged your product or service to tackle that problem head on. It's all about painting a picture of transformation. So finally, we've got the results, the payoff or happy ending to the story. So what amazing things happened to the character because they decided to finally take action? How did their life or business change? This is where you drive home the value of your offering. Now let's tie all of those elements together and make a SPAR story for the GPS tracking software I mentioned earlier. We actually work with another HVAC company down the road from you guys where the owner felt like he was paying way more in overtime than he used to for the amount of jobs he had coming in, and he was right. Once he started tracking his vehicles with us, he found his drivers were reporting overtime that didn't match the amount of time the vehicle was actually at the job site. And he ended up saving thousands of dollars a month by tracking his vehicles with us. You see how the SPAR method works? By framing your pitch as a story, you're no longer pushing something on the customer. You're offering them a transformation. You're showing them that you not only understand their challenges, but you have a proven solution for them. Now remember, when you're delivering that SPAR method, you still need to use those 3 C's of elevator pitching that we talked about earlier. You want to be clear, you want to be concise, and you want to be compelling. So now you've got your 1-sentence formula and your SPAR story ready to go, and now it's time to close out with a call to action. Call to action is a statement or question that's designed to get your prospect to want to take action or agree on next steps to move the conversation forward. When creating a call to action for your pitch, you want to ask yourself, in a perfect world, what is the natural next step that I would want my prospect to take after they heard this elevator pitch? After they heard that 1 sentence and the SPAR story, what would the next step be that I would want them to take? Keep in mind, there's a reason why I emphasize next step, not the step 3 steps from now. What is the natural next step in the conversation that you would want them to take? That's what you want to craft your call to action around. Great formula for creating a call to action is specific action plus benefit plus urgency equals movement. In other words, if you do those 3 things, it will get the prospect to move forward. So here's an example of how I would use that formula for a call to action. If you're liking this video, you should enroll in my full sales development course for free, where I cover even more sales pitch training methods that'll help you take your sales game to the next level. The link is in the description below, and if you are interested, I'd act quickly because there's only so many free licenses that I'm able to give out each month. So in that call to action, the specific action is enrolling in my free course. The benefit is that you're going to get more training on something I already know that you care about, or you wouldn't have been playing this video for this long. And the urgency is that I only have so many licenses that I can give up for free each month. Remember, you want that call to action to compel your prospect to act. So you need to be specific about what you want them to do, what the benefits will be for them, and then give them a reason to act quickly. And that's how to create the perfect elevator pitch no matter what you sell. Simply plug your specifics into the formulas you learned in this video. Use the 3 C's by role-playing that pitch until you get it right in the way that you're delivering it, and you'll be ready to start pitching customers and closing deals. Again, my name's Troy Barter. I appreciate you watching this entire video, and don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to up your sales game.